Breakfast cereals have been a mainstay of breakfast tables around the world for decades. But not all cereal attempts have been successful. Over the years, there have been some unfortunate cereal flops that have not been able to find a place in consumers' hearts or stomachs. In this video, we'll take a look at the top 10 worst cereal failures in history. From strange flavors to confusing marketing campaigns, these cereals provide us with an interesting glimpse into the evolution of the breakfast cereal industry. So, do subscribe to our Food History YouTube channel and like this video for more informational videos like this. Without any further delay, let's dive in. Banana Frosties. This disaster of cereal is known as one of the biggest cereal flops in history. Launched in 1990, Banana Frosties was an attempt to capitalize on the banana flavor craze. It boasted yellow-colored cornflakes, banana-flavored marshmallows, and crunchy, banana-shaped cereal pieces. Unfortunately, the taste of this cereal was far from the sweet and savory sensation promised by the box. It had an unpleasant, artificial taste that left many people disgusted. Despite its bold and colorful packaging, Banana Frosties failed to make an impression on consumers, leading to its discontinuation after just 1 year. To this day, it remains one of the worst cereal failures ever. Cupcake Pebbles. The idea behind Cupcake Pebbles cereal was to provide a tasty breakfast treat that resembled a cupcake. The colorful cereal was shaped like tiny little cupcakes and featured a creamy vanilla flavor. Unfortunately, this cereal didn't last long on store shelves. Despite the potential for success, consumers found the cereal to be overly sweet and quickly lost interest in it. The flavor was so strong that many people reported feeling nauseous after eating just a few spoonfuls. The combination of overly sweet and artificial flavors proved to be a recipe for disaster, and the product was discontinued shortly after it hit store shelves. Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids cereal was an attempt to take a beloved candy and make it into a breakfast food. Released in 2006, the cereal was made of small, crunchy, sour-flavored O's and sugar-coated marshmallows. The flavor was meant to replicate the popular candy, but some consumers found it to be overly sour and unpleasant. It had a very short shelf life and was discontinued within a few years. Sour Patch Kids cereal is remembered as one of the worst failures in cereal history, and the fact that it was produced in such a large quantity shows just how much faith the company had in its product. Unfortunately, the sour flavor was a bit too much for most consumers, making this cereal a failed experiment. Spongy. Spongy was an attempt to make a cereal that was both tasty and healthy. It consisted of a combination of oats, banana pieces, dates, and pecans. It was advertised as being high in fiber and low in fat. Unfortunately, it didn't live up to the hype. Consumers complained that the texture was off-putting, the flavor was too sweet, and it didn't seem to fill them up. As a result, Spongy was removed from store shelves soon after its release in the early 2000s. Despite its short lifespan, it is remembered as one of the more peculiar failed attempts to produce a healthy cereal option. Nerd Cereal. Nerd Cereal was released in the late 80s and was quickly pulled from shelves. It had an artificial grape flavor and a unique combination of shapes that consisted of stars, letters, and hexagons. Though it was considered a fun cereal by children, parents thought the letters were too hard for their children to recognize. The cereal had a cartoon mascot on the box, but the cartoon didn't help the cereal's popularity. The cereal was eventually discontinued due to low sales. Despite its failure, it is still remembered fondly by people who grew up with it. Many have even tried to recreate the cereal at home with modern ingredients. For those wanting to experience the taste of Nerd Cereal, you can find some recipes online. PopTarts Crunch. Pop-Tarts has been a classic breakfast item since 1964, but when they decided to introduce Pop-Tarts Crunch in 2003, the results weren't great. The cereal featured crunchy, sugary pieces of Pop-Tarts with a milk-flavored coating. Unfortunately, the cereal was highly criticized for its sugary taste and unhealthy nutrition facts. While the cereal was popular among children, adults found the taste overwhelming and often complained about it. The cereal was eventually discontinued in 2007 and is now remembered as one of the worst cereal failures of all time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Cereal. Released in 1989, this cereal was an attempt to capitalize on the popular cartoon series of the same name. Unfortunately, the cereal didn't taste nearly as good as the show. It was a mix of unsweetened oats, wheat, and corn with small, green marshmallow shapes meant to resemble the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Its box featured artwork of the turtles and had a large comic strip on the back, but these features didn't help the cereal gain any fans. Most people who tried it found it way too bland, and it was eventually taken off the market after just a few months. Dunkin' Donuts Cereal. Released in 1989, Dunkin' Donuts cereal was a classic example of a product that didn't live up to the hype. This cereal was an oat-based product with a sugary glaze that was supposed to taste like its namesake, donuts. Unfortunately, the taste wasn't quite as good as promised, and the cereal quickly faded from store shelves. The cereal was also criticized for its unhealthy sugar content. Even so, the cereal had a cult following, and a limited edition reissue edition was released in 2011. Despite its less than stellar performance, Dunkin' Donuts cereal remains one of the most memorable cereal failures in history. PacMan Cereal. PacMan Cereal was a limited edition cereal from the 1980s that was a collaboration between the iconic video game and General Mills. The cereal was fruit-flavored and featured round, Pac-Man-shaped pieces that made crunching noises when eaten. Despite its unique shape and flavor, PacMan cereal failed to catch on with the public and was quickly pulled from shelves. It is now remembered as one of the most infamous cereal flops in history, along with its contemporaries like Sour Patch Kids and Spongy cereals. PacMan cereal may not have been successful in the market, but it continues to remain a cult classic with fans of the iconic video game character. Nintendo Cereal. Nintendo Cereal, the iconic breakfast food from the 1980s that was released in an attempt to capitalize on the NES console's popularity. The cereal itself was a mixture of two different shapes, Mario and Luigi characters, as well as colorful cubes with various Nintendo-related designs like Donkey Kong and Zelda. The cereal itself didn't have much of a taste and was primarily made up of sugar, corn syrup, and artificial colors. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long and was quickly taken off the shelves due to poor sales. Nevertheless, it's still remembered fondly by those who grew up in the era and was an interesting attempt to capture the enthusiasm of Nintendo fans. What are your thoughts on this? Do let us know in the comment section below. See you in the next one!